Hi people, me again, of course, Marino Ravenberg as always. In this video I'm going to discuss the view that people have of themselves that I like to call a natural view. I don't think I've ever discussed it in any other video, and even if I've done so, it's only superficially, potentially a live stream of mine. Back in the day when I live streamed almost every single day, like in 2019. Anyways, yeah, let's delve right in. Or let me delve right in. Me and my guys, so yeah, still we. Anyways, yeah, regarding the subject matter, people by default have a naturally biased look about themselves. And by that, I mean that they have a biased view of themselves because they're used to seeing themselves practically ever since birth. Just think about it. When you're a child and you grow up, as you grow up and you still develop as a human being, psychologically, so spiritually as well as physically, you look at yourself in a mirror and you hear yourself talk. So you naturally, this is something that science also has confirmed. I forgot what they call it. I don't know if it's called cognitive bias or something, but my point is you have a natural view of yourself in terms of what you sound like, so your voice intonation, the way your voice sounds like, what your voice sounds like, the way your voice sounds, and the way you look physically, as well as mentality. And having that natural bias, because you're used to hearing yourself and looking at yourself all the live long day, ever since birth you've been doing it either directly or indirectly through a mirror or similar. It makes it so that you're naturally accustomed to yourself, and something that the absolute majority of people are unaware of, something that the absolute majority of people are unaware of is that you automatically develop a bias that way, and the majority of people have that issue, save one or two exceptional individuals, but statistically speaking, I think the majority of mankind, the bulk of mankind has that. So they have a natural view of themselves, a natural bias towards themselves in which they sound and they look like, hypothetically speaking, God essentially to themselves. So yeah, that's the case for the average person. Point in case is that you're so used to seeing yourself and hearing yourself that in your own head you automatically have some kind of disillusioned view of yourself that is ridiculously biased, as in your own head you think that you're the shit, as in, I'm hot stuff, I'm this, I'm that, I look great, I sound great. But that's obviously, that generally speaking contradicts with what you actually look like and sound like, the way the world actually sees you, the way you actually are. Usually those are a paradox because they contradict one another. I know from first-hand experience because that was also the case for me. When I grew up, all the way up until adulthood, before I became an occultist, I had a biased view of myself. I thought I sounded great, I looked great and everything, mentality, when it was the exact opposite in terms of mentality, especially when life was ridiculously hard, almost to unexplainable levels, or unimaginable levels. And the same thing for sounding like, in terms of voice intonation. In my own head, I look great, I sound great, I'm king of the hill, so to speak. And it's the case for most people. And I still remember when I first heard myself through a recording, I was like, seriously? I was like, is that me? I sound so weird. And it's not that my voice is weird, it's just that since you're not used to hearing yourself, you're hearing what you actually sound like. You're hearing what the rest of the world hears. You're hearing fact in terms of what you sound like. And usually people aren't content with that, really. So anyways, this is a natural bias that people have. And for those that are wondering how to alleviate yourself from said bias, or how to see yourself the world the way you actually are and or the way the world really sees you, is to simply record yourself on a regular basis. For example, once a week or once or twice every week. You determine the frequency. Okay, common sense and logic will tell you, when too much is too much, and the opposite, when not enough is not enough. Well, let's just say by default once a week would be okay. Just record yourself for an hour going about your day, when you're out doing groceries or buying groceries or shopping, when you're just running errands miscellaneously, or when you're sitting at home, just through daily life. Record yourself audio-wise as well as video-wise. Set up a camera, and if you're, for example, with someone like a significant other or something, ask that person to actually film you at random moments throughout the day without you being aware of it. I know it's something that can be difficult, but my point is, you choose. There are options in any case. You can either record yourself at home, or you can record yourself, you can have yourself recorded in some way, shape or form. For example, through a third party, or in the extremest of cases, hiring a private investigator to record you in secret. And just shake off the idea, just go about your day. My point is that you can either do one of the two or both. It's all up to you. I obviously recommend both. But my point is, you'll see that will definitely help, because you'll be seeing yourself in a whole new light. Again, you're going to be seeing yourself the way you actually are. You're going to see what the world sees and experiences on a day-to-day basis. What you actually sound like, what you actually look like, spiritually, so in terms of mentality and psychologically, as well as physically. And it can take some while to get used to it. But yeah, you'll be all the better for it. It automatically sees to a specific level of enlightenment. For me personally, it came with the territory when becoming an occultist. I still remember that as a beginner, I became a lot more self-aware of my environment. I became more self-aware of a lot of stuff, okay? Automatically, because my intuition increased. So I naturally, for example, if I recorded something, a spirit diary, for example, I work with a spirit and I recorded it really quick just so that I wouldn't forget about it. Or if I had a dream that had a distinct meaning because a spirit visited me, or a spirit gave me that dream and relayed information to me through that dream for the sake of convenience, I listened back to it, of course, to hear the content of what I was saying, the content of the subject itself. So the core of the matter. But at the same time, so simultaneously, I also, heard myself, as in that's what I sound like. And I got used to myself, to hearing myself. And before you knew it, honestly, it wasn't even long, you can't really attach a time period to it, but I'd say estimatedly half a year. Within half a year, I didn't need any of that stuff. Okay, the way I am now, obviously at my ridiculous level, even if I say so myself, I'm super aware of myself. I literally have like a third person view of myself, as in while being in my own body, so to speak, at the same time I'm also outside my body. So it's part of being on the spiritual level that I'm at. So I can not only see what I don't just see myself through my eyes, but I'm also seeing myself as if I were a stranger or a foreigner, as in foreign to my body, basically standing outside myself, looking at myself. So I have a multifaceted view of myself, if you will. I repeat, I have a multifaceted view of myself. I can see myself from several angles, personality-wise. So I know exactly what I sound like, what I look like, and what I behave like, and whatnot. Down to the smallest of levels, or the most detailed or most intricate of levels. And yeah, that's essentially it. That's simply something that you do need to keep in mind, because you can tell what the drawback is in terms of being ignorant and or oblivious to yourself as a whole. Point in case is, if you don't know what you sound like and look like and behave like to the rest of the world, so the way you really are as a person as a whole, as a human being as a whole, then it can cause trouble, because it'll generally lead to delusions. You're going to think to yourself, oh yeah baby, I'm hot stuff, you're going to develop some kind of unjust fictional form of conceit. You're going to be unjustly conceited, and again, it will most likely in general cause trouble. People are going to mock you, people are going to make fun of you. It's the equivalent of a woman that's horridly or horrendously or abysmally obese. For example, a woman that weighs like 300 kilograms. 600 pounds, someone that is just like a walking, talking elephant. And then imagine a woman like that wearing like a, a bikini suit, or not a swimsuit even, literally just going to the beach in a bikini with like almost a thong-like bikini. I mean, are you kidding me? I mean, obviously, any person, including me, would mock the hell out of that woman. Not to be mean, but it's simply me judging you. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with you? I would make comments like, I would honestly resort to bullying you. Not in a really horrendously bad way or in a mean way, but you could expect multiple comments from me as in, hey, check out, that sexy elephant over there. I didn't know that mammoths, aren't mammoths supposed to be extinct? This looks like a mammoth hooker. I'll throw stuff like that your way. You better believe I'm gonna, oh God. It's just, it's like too easy for me as a target to make fun of. My point is, see, okay, you not being self-aware in the way I explain is automatically causing you to set yourself up for failure and to render yourself vulnerable to the rest of the world. But if you're aware of yourself and you fully know yourself and admit to your own flaws and shortcomings, then no one can use it against you. But in the example that I gave, if that woman is the way I described, like most people, of course, at some point through their lives or the majority of their lives, in her own mind, she looks great. She looks like Scarlett Johansson in a bikini. She looks like any supermodel or beautiful actress or beautiful woman. Because she is that oblivious to what she actually looks like and sounds like and behaves like the rest of the world. So yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind. In any case, that's it guys. Bye.